Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to the universe.
Guess I'm locked in. Looking for a piece of mind. I've been trying to redefine life. I can see the signs. Word is going to see me shine. Fighting for my soul's sake. Whipping fast, no brakes.
I am Queen Ashay. Today, we honor the name Eloheem, the Creator, the source of all life, the one who spoke creation into existence. From the beginning, the scriptures remind us, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. Elohim represents divine power, wisdom, and the greatness beyond what our eyes can see. As we seek knowledge, let us walk with humility, love, and gratitude, knowing that the Creator's presence surrounds us. May we continue to grow in wisdom, truth, and understanding. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Yaki Elohim. Elohim just means Anunnaki. It's these group of beings. When God's in the Bible says God said, let man, let us, plural. It says, and God said, and Elohim said. Elohim is God. And so when you look at the word Elohim, it means God with an S, gods, plural. So many gods created man. It said, let is God, and God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. So it shows you that mankind is a template, and we look like our creator. That's the first thing they said, right? And then once you see that, then it says what they gonna do. I'm gonna give them the dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, woody-wop, and this and that. But notice the instruction came. He created Adam and Eve. He put Adam and Eve, Elohim did. So Elohim, these gods, created man, this biological man. They put this man in a garden, right? So they put man in a garden, and then it says his whole purpose was to dress and keep the garden. So his whole purpose was for servitude in the first place. He was supposed to dress and keep this little simulation that the creator Elohim put him in. Then it said that he got smart and he disobeyed Elohim, right? And when he got smart and disobeyed Elohim, he left one service place where it didn't seem like he was working, but to dress and keep the garden is still servitude. You know, he had to guard the garden. What was he guarding the garden for? And he had to dress it, meaning he had to build it up and make it fashionable for him and his family. But after Adam and Kawar, who they called Adam and Eve, went against Elohim's plan and instructions, he kicked them out of one simulation and then he put them in a more hostile environment. Now, in this hostile environment, guess what it says? It says that they had to work from the sweat of thy what? Brow. So now they went from this, tilling the garden to this rigorous hard work. Then you start looking around in the book of Genesis, it's talked about how they worked in a place where there was gold, Havilah, where there was gold. It talks about that they gold mined. It talks about how they was working in the middle of 4 rivers, which where the garden was at. They kicked them out of the garden and put something called a Melachine or an archangel in to keep them from getting back into paradise. And while they was outside of paradise, they literally had to work from the sweat of their brow. And if you read in the book of Enoch, or you read in the book of Jasher, or you read in the book of Adam and Eve, it shows how rigorous that work was.
You see, when you're dealing with the elves, what you're dealing with the order of divine beings, an order of divine beings that have high knowledge, and they believe in discipline, and they believe in letting you know what needs to be known when it needs to be known. You see, this is where they crippled us up at. This is how they tripped us up. They removed us from our orders. We had orders. We've always been like this here. Even when we didn't exist within the physical, we existed in order. How do you think all of this is functioning? Each order or each thing within this plays its own role. But you allow people to trick you out of your order. And look, I'm not trying to sell you on religion. No, I'm trying to tell you to take back what belongs to you, because they took the books that you use within your spiritual system, your order. And you're disrespecting the ancestors. Because when they came here and they started to colonize this land, and they started to run into many different types of people here on this land, and they had their own spiritual systems. They took a lot of these people and said that you're no longer allowed to use your spiritual system that you work. You have to use the system that we're giving you within this book right here. And then the ones who were not familiar with that book, who were not using the Kabbalah science and all that already, who was here, they looked at that book and said, okay, well, we're going to get familiar with that book. And then they started realizing that, some of these same characters in this book have the same attributes of some of the gods that we deal with. So they took it and made it work. But you're taking the book and you're throwing it away. This is how I feel about the Bible. It could be used as a flame to heat up your house, or it could be used to burn down the house. Now, if I'm trying to feed my children and we're sitting at the table and the table is wobbling, and the only thing that I have to level that table out is the Bible, that Bible is going to go right up under that leg to balance out that table so that my children will eat.
The Elohim are the Anunnaki, and it is their sons born on earth who married the daughters of Adam. Those who from heaven to earth came, they are Elohim in the Bible.
The prophet Daniel in the Old Testament says that he was given a vision by God where he saw the earth, and it was in a destruction and a desolation of the world, in a vision taking him back to an ancient time.
In Hebrew, the verse says Bereshit, which is translated in the beginning. Elohim, God, created the heaven and the earth. How could it be that the story of creation starts with the second letter of the alphabet and not with the first letter, the Alpha? If you add the Aleph, which may have dropped somewhere along the writings, etc., of the Bible, it becomes not Bereshit, Av Reshit, the father of beginning, created Elohim, the heaven and the earth.
Oh.
So the supreme creator created the Anunnaki, Elohim, the heaven and the earth.
So when we take it to the next notch, up another level, you actually find out that these Elohim are actually extraterrestrials, beings that have come from different star systems. And they're the ones
You're
that
just
are responsible.
replacing one religion with another.
No, we're not.
You are.
No, we're not.
You are. Where's the evidence of these extraterrestrials?
Is that there's African cosmology and ancient African tribes that speak about ancestral beings coming from the skies.
Yeah, well,
unless you're going to dismiss
creating
that.
a religion. That's just another
No,
religion.
actually
No, it's not.
You see, you're saying that now, but recently, Donald Trump has just released the UFO files, and
Yeah,
there's going to be
there's
more.
nothing in it.
Let me
There's
finish.
nothing in it.
Okay, but how can you say there's nothing in it and you haven't even
How can
actually
you
looked
claim
at...
that extraterrestrials came
Okay,
to Africa
but we were
and,
just we spent the last
built civilizations?
I'm trying to tell you, we just spent the last however minutes talking about God and religion, right? God is an extraterrestrial if you want to follow any religions then, because God is not on Earth, is he? He's outside of the planet. And when you're saying extraterrestrial, if you really break down the word, it's anything that is extra to the terrestrial or the terrain of this planet. So when we say, you admitted before that there's a whole cosmos out there, many planets, many galaxies, many
But there's
universes.
no evidence of
But
extraterrestrials
I'm
coming
saying
to
if you
Earth.
accept that there are other planets, it will be futile to think you're the only life form on this one planet in such a vast universe, right? And it depends on what you're calling life, because most of the time you're just looking at yourself as a life form, but there are bacteria. When you look at meteorites that have come to this planet, yeah, they bring bacteria. This is referred to as panspermia. There are ancient African cultures, the Anunnaki from Sumeria, the ancient Egyptians, the Zoroastrians, the Mayans, the Chinese, the Hindus, that have a completely different account of what you're calling the beginning and
It's
records
just
of
another
the
creation myth. I'm sorry, there's no evidence
just because
for it.
Europeans, right, or when you're dealing with monotheistic religions, you're only dealing with a 6,000 year history, when there's millions and millions of years that have been recorded with things that have been excavated and found, and DNA have been
Millions
taken.
of years? No,
Yeah.
not
All right,
true.
how
not
old is
true.
how old is the universe?
The universe is 4.65 with error bars of about a billion years old.
Okay, so you said billions.
Yes.
So then, if the universe is, according to you, we know it's a lot older than that. It's actually some 9 billion years old.
13.
But if you accept that, then how can you not say that the planet can be millions of years? Because the planet came from the universe.
Well, because the greatest evidence for Homo sapiens at the moment is between 250,000 and 300,000
Okay,
years
so
old.
are you?
But there are no artifacts until about 70,000 years ago.
So are you familiar with the current anthropological evidence?
Yeah.
So you know about the
Denisovians, yes.
You know about the Homo naledi?
Yes, I know all about them. Do you know where the most recent homonym remains come from?
When you say we, are you talking about Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon?
No. They're a different branch. I'm talking about
right. So what I'm
Homo erectus. Where is the latest evidence from?
Right, I'm trying to explain it to you. Right, so
you just need to give a one-word answer.
You can't tell me how to answer a question.
Well, no, I'm just asking you where it's from, because if you actually study anthropology,
we're not having a conversation now. We're talking over each other.
Yeah, I know.
Which means that we'll have to allow each other to speak to make our point and make the thought. Right. I'm trying to say to you, there have been excavations going back 7.1 million years old, right? As well as even the Lucy and the ones that people are familiar with, they're like 3-point-something million years old, right? Anthropologists have now discovered, as you say, that there are different branches in terms of the roots of the main races on the planet. The African being the oldest is the Homo naledi and the Homo habilis. You're shaking your head, but instead of doing
I disagree with you.
Yeah, you can disagree, but what I'm saying is, let me finish my point. Then you can do your research, and then you can.
Well, I've done my research.
You can respond, but I
different.
haven't finished. Okay, go on.
All right,
you
carry on. You carry on,
because you don't obviously want me to finish.
No, you can carry on. But as you know, because I knew the word Denisovian when you were struggling to say it.
I wasn't struggling to say it. I was gathering my thoughts.
I stepped in. We can roll the tape back and have a look at that.
I've done 100 videos where you can go and watch that. I've said it 100 times. So I'm saying it's not the first time I'm saying it, right? So the Homo naledi and the Homo habilis is the African, the Denisovan and the Homo floresiensis would be the Asian, and then the Cro-Magnon and the Neanderthal, as well as the Basque, would be dealing with the European.
That's not true. Neanderthals came out of Africa as well.
Didn't.
They did.
They're found in
Google it now.
The three of those classifications are found in Europe, right? And the Homo naledi and the Homo habilis are found in Africa, and the Denisovan are found across Asia.
I mean, it all started in Africa, though, didn't it? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What part of Africa, I'll ask this question again, are the latest excavations and the oldest branch of? No.
Because you say so?
Well, because anthropologists say so. If you want to gainsay it, it's Morocco.
Okay.
Oh.
It's true. You go and do your research.
Okay, even if we went
in Africa.
Even if we went with Morocco.
Well, yes, but it's
Africa.
not sub-Saharan Africa. It is.
But what's the point? Because
Sahel.
all I'm saying is that the point I was before.
Morocco's there, Middle East is there, isn't it?
We're speaking.
Morocco's all the way along the North African coast.
But what I'm saying is the point still remains, which is that you have different cultures that exist way before the Europeans, and the stories of the Bible and all of that didn't exist back then. People had a completely different civilization, culture, and way of life that speak about creation stories that predate the Bible.
Well, no, I agree with that. I live my life by the Code of Hammurabi, and the Namu, and the maxims of Hotep.
Right.
I know all about this. And that's why I also know there's no proper evidence of ancient Africans and ancient.
So what about Egypt?
Why are you talking over me?
Sorry.
You just talked about
Right,
talking
go ahead.
over
Sorry,
people.
I say sorry. Go ahead.
There is no written or archaeological evidence of extraterrestrials coming to educate African or Mesoamerican or primitive prehistoric Asian tribes. There's just no evidence.
Yes, there is. It's written on the walls of Egypt.
That doesn't go back beyond about 4,000 BCE.
That's according to anthropologists.
Well, all right, so you have greater knowledge than trained...
We have a master teacher. Okay,
Lord, this is a religion. You're saying a master teacher.
Now you're speaking over me. We have a master teacher. We three sitting here represent our ancestors, Africans. Africans predate humanity.
No, Africans are part of humanity.
No, we predate humanity. We didn't.
You are talking gobbledygook now.
No, I'm not.
Are you saying you're aliens? I'm really confused.
Let me explain. Let me explain.
Nowhere in your Bible does it say God created man. God said, which is Eloheem, the gods, more than one. Come, let us, who's us? Come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Christians will say, well, there it is, right there. See, God is creating man. That's not the correct understanding. Go back and look at it original. The gods, more than one, said, come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. He's already here, but let's make him look like us, which means let's impregnate one of the females with our DNA from the world that we have come from. And let's see what she gives birth to. And so obviously it must have been, as the Bible says, it was an experiment. And with any experiment, maybe you'll screw up a couple of times in the experiment. And that gives us today Yetis and these Neanderthal creatures that look similar, but they're totally different. Well, maybe they were the experiment with the gods, whoever they are. They have come here from somewhere else, and they took a look at the Neanderthal, and these extraterrestrials said, come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness.
I'm not allowed to say certain things, but this is how they hide everything. So, if you want to understand what you are, where we are, this ebook will literally unveil that to you.
You see, when you're dealing with the elves, what you are dealing with, you're dealing with the order of divine beings, an order of divine beings that have high knowledge, and they believe in discipline, and they believe in letting you know what needs to be known when it needs to be known. You see, this is where they crippled us up at. This is how they tripped us up. They removed us from our orders. We had orders. We've always been like this here. Even when we didn't exist within the physical, we existed in order. How do you think all of this is functioning? Each order or each thing within this plays its own role. But you allow people to trick you out of your order. And look, I'm not trying to sell you on religion. No, I'm trying to tell you to take back what belongs to you, because they took the books that you use within your spiritual system, your order. And you're disrespecting the ancestors. Because when they came here and they started to colonize this land, and they started to run into a many different types of people here on this land, and they had their own spiritual systems. They took a lot of these people and said that you're no longer allowed to use your spiritual system that you work. You have to use the system that we're giving you within this book right here. And then the ones who were not familiar with that book, who were not using the Kabbalah science and all that already, who was here, they looked at that book and said, okay, well, we're going to get familiar with that book. And then they started realizing that, you know what, some of these same characters in this book have the same attributes of some of the gods that we deal with. So they took it and made it work. But you're taking the book and you're throwing it away. This is how I feel about the Bible. It could be used as a flame to heat up your house, or it could be used to burn down the house. Now, if I'm trying to feed my children and we're sitting at the table and the table is wobbling, and the only thing that I have to level that table out is the Bible, that Bible is going to go right up under that leg to balance out that table so that my children will eat.
I'm locked in. Guess I'm locked in. Yeah. Looking for a piece of my